we can go ahead and get right into it then. Tell me about HQ, Taj. Tell me about HQ. What is it meant to be? How did
Mm,
you how did you reformat it? Like what are you like how are you planning it?
yeah, HQ, in simple terms, dance studio. Started a dance studio. Started it in June last year. Actually, kind of serendipitously. I wasn't planning to start one last year when at the beginning of the year. You know, my goal wasn't I'm gonna start a dance studio this year. Um, you already know like my background and past with dancing for a cause, and like we had a studio back then. You were part of that too. Um, and when we had to close doors because of COVID, that was a really tough time for me because one, like pragmatically speaking, it was the right choice because we have to flatten the curve. We got to shut down. Like, I'm not going to keep a studio open when people are dying and you need to do social distancing, you know? So I closed the studio down
Mhm.
and I just focused on work. I just like got into a tech career. I just finished my master's degree at that point. And then
Mhm.
for 4 years I worked. Um, and I've always had that bug in me to do dance
Yeah.
organizing work. But the thing is, I put that down. I like really pushed that bug down to just lock in on my work after college, right after my
Mhm.
degree. Let me just work a job. Let me learn from a company. Let me learn within this company. Let me learn as much as I can. I got into tech sales. So I was a BDR, became a full account executive. I became a program manager. Then I became a senior project manager at that company. So I worked my way up a lot in that role.
Mhm.
And I love tech sales. I learned a lot in tech and a lot of things that just completely like my brain is always working like with dance too, like
Mhm.
with the dance business side of things, and it's like, oh, I would do it this way next time or that way next time if there even is a next time. And it just so happened that there was this dance studio called Milana Dance that was closing down, and I didn't know it was closing down, but what I did was I saw a Facebook post of them asking people who want to rent
Mhm.
expeditiously, and they want like subleases. And to me,
Mhm.
that's a sign of your lease might end. There might be
Mhm.
something there where you might be trying to transfer a lease or something like that, or you're done with the space. So I gave them a call. I said, "Hey, I'd love to rent the space to just start up a dance classes." And up until then, I was doing like kind of small things. I was hosting dance classes at Oak Point Recreation Center for beginners. And I was like, you know what, let me bring that to a proper dance studio versus like a recreation center because I want to bring more of the dance community back into the doors. So
Mhm.
I asked her, and um, her name, well, I don't have to disclose her name, but she's also from Bangladesh. So my background is Bangladesh, right? So my
Yeah.
family's from Bangladesh. So that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, you're Bengali too? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know. And then we just started talking, and she was like, yeah, we're gonna end our lease in October. So if you like to rent and just kind of see how it goes, and just to see if it's something you might want to maybe take over the lease, right? So that's kind of what it was.
Mhm.
I took up like a lion's share of her time there at the studio, and we
Yeah.
started the programs June. So I wasn't an official leaseholder yet.
Mhm.
I took over the lease in December. So
Mhm.
that's when I actually took over the lease with the landlord. So
Mhm.
HQ, what is HQ? It's me getting back into the dance studio business, and
Mhm.
it's my passion project. Like I know
Mhm.
my calling and gift in life that I've been given is I have this like uncanny ability to bring people together through the medium of dance and creating a welcoming atmosphere for all walks of life to come and learn and appreciate it and enjoy it and just grow together. You know what I mean? And I find a lot of fulfillment in that. And also applying what I've learned through business school, is giving me an opportunity to apply that knowledge practically in like a proper business. And yeah, just continue to learn and grow as a business acumen too, because I do also love the art
Mhm.
of business. So it's these
Mhm.
two arts that I love together, dance and business, and it challenges me every
Mhm.
day, you know? So yeah, I just got into it again. I opened HQ and doing my thing.
At what point well, there's a lot to unpack there, but I do wanna ask this first is, at what point did you leave your tech job to then do this full time? Was it when you were all in on HQ, or was
Mm,
it like, did you
yeah,
already have an idea of doing it before you did the dance classes, or while you're doing the dance classes, you thought, "I think I wanna go back all in?"
I've always wanted to come back to dance studio work or dance organizing work, and
Mhm.
I actually still work my 9 to 5. I have a I'm at a different company now, but I'm still in tech. So I
Understand.
work my nine to
Okay.
five and my 6 to 9, 6 to 10 or whatever. My 24 hours over over my life is
Mhm.
still a dance studio work too. So I do both.
Mhm.
I'm
Okay.
currently SDR at Form Assembly, so it's just
Mhm.
a tech role. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so I like that. I like that. Okay. I personally speaking, I would have felt anxious for you having tried to go back all in on HQ, but then also leave your 9 to 5 to try it. I feel like doing both at least gives you the safety net and peace of mind that like I'm still have my stable job, and
Yeah.
also to lets you treat this as a passion project, make the decisions you want to make for the business versus making decisions that you have to
Mhm.
make for the business.
Right.
What I think one thing that I actually wondered when I first heard you were bringing you're starting HQ is what are you actually what did you learn in your schooling and the 4 years of working and still working, etcetera, that made you think, "Okay, maybe, like, this time it could be different, better,
Mm,
more sustainable, maybe last longer than the previous one?" Like, what are a few of those things that you learned that you think applying those to the business is going to help or maybe has helped thus far?
yeah. Slow growth, slow motion is the best motion. It's one thing I learned about scaling. I learned a lot about
Mhm,
scaling business through my work in tech, because what you learn in tech is there's an idea, but you don't implement that idea that week. You have a meeting next week. Then you kick the can to the next week and bring in three other stakeholders. Then you kick the can the
mhm,
next week and you create a project timeline. And then this might happen in Q1 of this year, and so on and so forth. Right? So, same thing with
mhm,
dance studio work. Um, when I opened HQ, it wasn't out the gate HQ. It
mhm,
was very grassroots, quite literally, because
mhm,
this space was still Milana Dance. The studio still had Milana Dance on the front. We were not the leaseholder. We came in and we're just
mhm,
renting time, and we're bringing in teachers. And let me first see if there is a demand to learn. If there isn't a demand to
mhm,
learn, we shouldn't exist. Because in business,
mm,
a product only exists because it's solving a problem. And, you know, we're not selling waters, we're not selling sneakers, we're not selling shoes and merchandise and to make HQ exist. First and foremost, the money that came through the door are from people who are here to learn,
mhm,
right? And if that is there, okay, let's do another month. Does that sustain the next month? Let's do another month. Does that sustain a 5 year lease? Let's think about it. We gotta look at a lot of things,
mhm,
right? That's what business taught me
right,
is you gotta move with data. You gotta
mhm,
make sure all your even like what you're doing to prop up the business, your point of sale system, um, how you're doing communications, how you're doing communications internally and externally with clients, like customers, and then internally with your staff. Um, how are you speaking to them with your ideas and project planning? These are things that I learned from my companies that I worked for,
mhm,
and also in management school, like my MBA. Everything that I learned in an MBA program, are all things that what you need to learn as a CEO to create a business system. That's what companies are.
Mhm.
It's a machine that generates value, right? And how that money is then invested back into it and where it goes and how it works is what ultimately scales
Mhm.
it, you know? And that's kind of what I
Mhm.
learned from that and I applied that. And to kind of like your point earlier too about like, you know, like career wise, like I was at a point in my career, I was 4 years into tech company and like I had taken care of my like safety net wise, right? Like I had built up a
Mhm.
savings. I had like, alhamdulillah, I bought a home and
Congrats.
that was good investment. And what am I doing? I have a home, I'm paying the mortgage, I'm working my tech job, I have all this time, 6 to evening, and then I work the next day. So the next decision you make is either you spend your extra money on investing, just constantly investing, which I've been doing, but then you have like you could still do more, right? So I'm like, what?
Mhm.
I wanted to buy a BMW so bad. You don't know how bad I've been wanting to buy a BMW, but you know what? I was like, instead of buying a
Feel that.
BMW, let me put that money into a studio. Let me start a studio,
Mm.
create a small business that can generate revenue and hopefully be an additional stream of income for me at some point
Mhm.
down the line. But let me first
Mhm.
create and start it from a little seed into some and scale
Mhm.
it slowly until it makes sense for me to make an income off of it. But until
Mhm.
then, it's a great learning experience for me to apply what I've all
Yeah.
been learning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So instead of like just buying stuff and like going, and I could travel too, right? I could have done that. I could have put my disposable income on a lot of things. I chose to start a small business.
Mhm.
You know, am I
Do
moving
you
through the skin of my teeth? You bet. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's to me, it's like I rather do that than move through the skin of my teeth in a BMW. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like I
Mhm.
rather
I mean,
put that money towards.
BMWs are kind of nice though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
ah.
But you know
No,
what?
I
One
think you
day
made
I
the
will
right
walk into
choice.
the store. Yeah, one day I'll walk into the store and buy it cash. You know what I'm saying?
Because of this. Exactly. Exactly. Um, wow, so many things. Wow, so many things to ask you. My mind is racing. Do you think the MBA was worth it? I feel like that's a question that's so many people have every year because
Mm,
every year the dollar value of education is, I feel like, disproportionately increasing to the actual value it may actually provide or perceived value.
mm,
And a lot of people, the advice that I was given from my cousins who are much older and are much more like educated and learned, and they said before you even think about an MBA, they said go work. Yeah, and sometimes even for same for the masters, like get your bachelor's, go work, and then go do this
mm,
extra schooling because you will have something to apply that to versus just going and
mm,
doing it and then working. But then
mm,
other people take the stance of get it out of the way so that you don't have to go back to school if you're not someone who necessarily likes the schooling aspect of it,
mm,
or the educational aspect of it, and then get the education out of the way, then just go balls to the wall in your life and just apply it everywhere you
mm,
can or how you see fit or whatever it is. So, did you find like did you find value out of it as you were doing it, or do you think maybe it took a while and now that you're doing this, the value it's showing itself now because of this choice that you've made?
mm. Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that's like a very like common like question, especially in America, like with like
Mhm.
college being so expensive, and all that stuff, and student loan debt, and like I have student loan debt. Do I
Mhm.
pay it every month? Yes, I do, and it sucks. But
Mhm.
but the thing is, that student loan debt was kind of like on my fault too. Like I should have. Okay, there's a lot to say here. So I'll start with this. When I took my MBA courses, immediately I saw value in it
Mhm.
because I had already opened a studio at the time before that.
Right.
I ran a business, right? I did DFC too,
Mhm.
and I saw what like nonprofit systems look like and the accounting sheet and reading a P&L for that. I understood
Mhm.
what it's like to run even the studio. I ran into a lot of
Mhm.
problems every day. Business is constant problems every day. You have to solve business problems every single day. At the MBA program, I read every single textbook that was required of us and cover to cover because
Mhm.
not because just because I want to get a good grade or whatever. It's because everything I was reading there, I was like viciously attracted to because it related back to problems I dealt with doing a
Mhm.
studio, doing an organization, coming down to like, for example, like SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses,
Mhm.
opportunities, and threats. That's something you do in a business. You look at the strengths and weaknesses of your business and the opportunities and threats on the macro of the business, and then you forecast your decisions and stuff off of that. I did that, right? If you're thinking about it as a studio owner, you think about what other studios are doing. You're thinking about all like the problems that are coming your way, like there's seasonal challenges. People go to school, they
Mhm.
might drop in memberships, right? These are threats. Or like there's also like, like weather emergencies. These are threats too, right? And they teach you in business school to turn these threats into opportunities, right?
Mhm.
So like for example, this is just a really stupid example. Let's say there's like a um like you have to close the studio for a week. That week run a flash sale, right? Like do like
Mhm.
a flash sale that week, and it's like a marketing opportunity. You're turning your threat into an opportunity.
Mhm.
I found immediate value in that because again, like I was thinking it back to like my personal experiences. So to your point, when someone says like, yeah, you need to work first before you get your MBA, I would agree. I think it's helpful to like get that real world work experience to truly value the knowledge you're getting. Because if you're just sitting
Mhm.
there regurgitating vocabulary and information but not applying it to real world stuff, it's not gonna click as much. A lot of my
Mhm.
peers, for
Right.
example, in my class, them would be like, "Oh, I gotta memorize all this." To me, I'm like, "This is like gold. This is like I love theories and models of what strategic partnerships should look like. What's a market
Mhm.
penetration? How to approach it? What's the best practice for that?" These are things like I immediately,
Mhm.
oh, how would I do it with the dance studio? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that MBA program or any program for knowledge that is a curriculum and course guided is gonna be a good investment for anybody. You could look
Mhm.
at it. You could look at it like an analogy of a gym membership. A gym
Mhm.
membership could be worth it or not worth it for people, right?
Mhm.
If you pay
Yeah.
$30 a month but you don't go to the gym, or even if you go to the gym but you half-ass your workouts, you're not going to see
Mhm.
results. So
Yeah.
that same person compared to another one who goes does everything they got to do,
Mhm.
they both paid the same. One got more value out of it, right?
Mhm.
Because of how they extracted it out. You have to extract the value. So I think
Yeah.
knowledge is always valuable for anyone. Do colleges charge ridiculous amounts? I agree. Yes. I
Mhm.
got into Harvard Online Business School, like a program after my MBA, and I
Mhm.
chose not to go, even though I'm sure the education would have been great. It was
Mhm.
$50,000, and I'm like, I'm good for now.
Sheesh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good off
Right?
that.
Can I
I'm good off
YouTube
that too. Jeez.
YouTube stuff? Yeah, I could YouTube stuff for free, right? But it's also
Mhm.
still a different learning experience. But in either
Mhm.
case, you're learning. You're learning. Learning is always valuable. You know.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I like that. I like that, you know, your case is so niche in that you were running one before you went in, so you had things to apply it to, and I think about myself or other people in my shoes where our whole lives have been education. Like, I was started in school, and I didn't stop school until I got my master's. Like, I didn't do anything other than that, and so I had nothing to apply it to, right? Like, I had nothing to apply my accounting knowledge to ever. Um, but now that, you know, a couple of years into working, I was like, "Man, I don't know if I love this job, whatever it is. I kinda wanna do something different."
Mm.
And I was like, I think that's when it was like, now that I want to use the knowledge, the idea of like, I wish I had the knowledge kind of like started sprouting. I was like, man, I wish I had the knowledge to feel to like do it. Now, regardless, like
Mm.
you said, there's YouTube out there. There's people who like There's people who make courses like that on there. There's sites like Skillshare and other things that like give like do courses and stuff, and you just have to really have the agency to go and first learn it, but also
Mm-hmm.
do it. You
Yeah.
can't just learn it and then get
The,
high off the knowledge and not do anything. You're just kind of
the
wasting
same
time.
textbook I bought for one class, you can go buy that too, right? But the difference between me
Exactly.
and you buying that book and me buying that book is I bought that book and I have a quiz on each chapter each week and a forum discussion post to do for the book
Mhm.
for my class that
Mhm.
I paid
Yeah.
X amount of money for. You don't have that skin
Yeah.
in the game. You could pick up the book,
Mhm.
put it down any day you want. So your knowledge is
Mhm.
entirely dependent on your discipline to learn it and crack open that book, right? So
Mhm.
it's more likely that I'll extract value from the book quicker than you in that scenario, right?
Right. Right. And
So
yeah,
it
I
kind of,
agree.
yeah. So that's the thing about like school is like, yeah, it's expensive, but also and they need to make it more affordable. That's like a whole government thing.
Yep.
No, knowledge should be extremely accessible. Because knowledge is the most powerful asset,
Mhm.
I think, for a human being. You know.
Yeah.
So
You've heard about the what's it called? The knowledge debt concept?
mm-mm,
I don't think it's exactly called that, but for anybody who doesn't know, it's just the idea that you the the only thing standing between you and maybe $10,000 a month is to knowledge of how to make a business that runs $10,000 a month. You know, it's knowledge at the end of the day. Maybe
mm-hmm,
you're a really hard worker, but you just don't know how, right? And once you know how, you do it, and then you get it. Same thing
mm-hmm,
with 10 to 100, 100 to 500, 500 to a mil kind of thing, right? It's a knowledge gap, not necessarily a hard like time spent, effort spent, etc. You could just be spending your time and effort in the wrong direction.
mm-hmm,
You you had said something earlier which I latched onto of feeling like you were like your purpose is to make dance accessible, bring multiple communities together through dance. Maybe in this case, combine two of your current passions, which are dance and business. Um, how did you come about that kind of sense of self purpose, sense of duty almost?
mm. I think when I realized that it like a sense of fulfillment comes from doing that type of work successfully. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
when I bring a community together and like even like HQ, like when I think about HQ and I see all the students who go in there and I see like someone have an aha moment and they just figured out how to do the bounce or like
Mm-hmm.
they just nailed the choreo or like someone maybe taught their first class and I gave them that chance to do that and then that's
Mm-hmm.
brings them to a whole cool journey in their life. That is that's something like I can't even like tangibly explain because it's just fulfillment. I find a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fulfillment from it. It fills up my cup. It gives
Yeah.
me it's like, yo, I can do this. Okay, I'll just keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's making
Yeah.
sense in my head and
Mm-hmm.
no one else is thinking of this but me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just do it then, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
there are some people out there that I'm like I love giving people shots. I love giving people a shot at being better than where they're at right now. I love putting people on. Like if you're a dope choreographer but you're slept on, I'm gonna make sure no one's sleeping on you because I'm not sleeping on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this also goes to uh, a value that I hold dearly to my heart in life. It's that I believe every single human being, no matter like who you are, you have something valuable to bring to the table. You may not know it. Maybe you do know about it. Maybe you don't. But no matter what, every single human being, I never underestimate them. I won't underestimate
Mm-hmm.
anybody. because everyone has something extremely valuable in them that no one else can imitate.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna always appreciate. I'm gonna always strive to find that in someone and appreciate it. Um, and some people don't even realize that they have it. Some people have very like
Mhm.
they downplay themselves a lot, and I feel like I have like a lens where when I see someone and I get to know them, I kind of already see like the diamond inside of them, you know? And I think it's our job as human beings
Mhm.
and community to bring it out of each other. I think if more people did that, it would be a nicer like environment, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that kind of exudes in my work at HQ or any dance thing that I do is like I try to bring
Mhm.
that in my work, and it might be a little infectious, everyone's kind of doing that too, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, I find a lot of fulfillment in that, and I think that way. Another quote that I live by in my business work is like, trust your people. You know, like whoever you're working
Mhm.
with, even if you have an ounce of doubt, wash it away with trusting them. Like just trust your people to do what you believe they can do. You know.
Mhm. Yeah. No, trust is a big one. I always remember what I talked to Cam, often Cam Grayson, and he's been on the podcast a couple of times, and what he always says about when he tries to throw an event, it always, like,
Mm-hmm.
confuses me because he's like, "I don't stress 'cause I have people helping me who I'd fully trust to get the job done." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"How?" Because
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
be
It's hard.
flipping the fuck out on, like, everything.
No,
And
that's exactly right.
the
Cam is exact. Cam, I appreciate a lot, and I tell him too. Like I see a lot of me in him. Like and that's why I also resonate to him a lot. It's like you're another person in this scene who sees the good in people, and you bring it out,
Mhm,
and you create
mhm,
environments that bring it out, and you need to keep doing that.
mhm.
You know, and I'm
Yeah,
super proud of Cam.
mhm. Yeah, no, I to your point, I think the highest rate of success that you can have for anything that you're doing is as long is like it's almost proportional to the value that you're providing for someone, right? So it I agree. I think that's a really interesting purpose. I'm happy that you found your purpose so early in life, and I say early, like because some people never find their purpose in life. Never find like maybe the thing that they think they're meant to do that they actually spend years doing. Even if like 10 years down the line you think, okay, my purpose has changed. At least you spend so many years on this that you're actually doing it. I can't I can't tell you how many people that I've met, talked to myself that are like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know like what I'm supposed to do. I don't know where I
Mm,
should be spending my time, my energy. I'm not happy where I am.
mm,
And, one of the more consistent strings that I've found or connections, threads that I've found in people who have more satisfaction in life is this idea of like service, or at least doing something for the value of someone else, not for yourself.
mm.
If you find a problem that you're trying to fix, and if that problem takes you 10 years to fix it, but you're so dedicated to fixing it, that's your business. If you
Do
find
that.
a if you find a problem to help somebody with on a weekend and you go do it, that's your weekend thing that's
I
gonna
think
make you
I
satisfied
think
this
I think
weekend.
people I think people like uh unfortunately they judge too much the impact what they're doing is having. Like if
Mhm.
it's not making a huge impact, this is not what I should be doing, right? And I think
Mm.
that is a wrong mentality. And to people who say I don't know what I want to do, I would argue to them or position to them the same thing I positioned to me that helped me realize that, oh, I do like to do this, is you do know what you want to do, you just haven't admitted it yet, right? There
Bars.
you do what you want to do all the time actually. If you want to know what you
Mhm.
want to do, just look backwards and look what you've been doing. Now
Mhm.
do that more and more intentionally,
Yeah.
right?
Ooh, I was we talked about we're gonna get to podcasts in a minute, but I was listening to Dr. K and Jay Shetty's podcast that came out like today, and
Mm,
what you just said resonated because in there they talk about actually um a little bit on the same line of what you were saying, a little bit opposite of like they were saying, be yourself is probably the worst advice you can give somebody. Like,
mm,
don't be yourself if you don't necessarily know who you are, know what you are, don't like who you are, you're trying to improve, etc., reimagine yourself, etc. Don't be yourself. Um, but in the same way, to your point, like if you're trying to figure out what your purpose is, what you're like, what you want to do in life, etc., take a look at who you actually are, like what you're doing, who you are, what you have been doing, how that has been affecting those around you and everything, and then figure out like, is this actually what I want to be doing, or is this what I've been doing? Right?
yeah.
Like, and this is something that I've had to like. I've actually actively been working on this for the past 5 years, basically around the time that I've been almost 5 years now is like living on my own after getting out of the education system, starting my own job, having my own income, etc. Like using money the way I want to use it, using my time the way I want to use it. Nobody really tells me something that like I have to do anything anymore. Essentially, like if
Mm,
there's no external pressure on me to do it may not get done because I either operate on a need based. I generally operate on a need based system mentally.
mm,
So I've been doing what I want to do for so many years, and I'm still not the most happy all the time, etc. And that's outside of all the blessings that I've received in life. And I took a step back, I think, last year from everything, and I was like, you're not happy because you really are doing only what you want to do. You're not doing what you need to do. Like every day I wake up and I'm on my phone or on YouTube or watching a stream or listen to a podcast because I want to do those things.
mm,
But in tandem with that, what do I actually need to do? Well, what goals do you have? I want to get in shape. Why aren't you in the gym? Why aren't you going for a walk? I do want to create content and make some sort of impact on other people, whether it's talking about books or talking to people on the podcast and having people listen in and glean some sort of advice or insights into their lives from other people's lives. Okay, cool. Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you messaging people to like get them on? Like, why are you so scared of that? Why aren't you listening back to your content, dissecting it, seeing how it can improve? Because you want to do the
mm,
thing. Why? Then you need to do these other things, right? There's always a want to and need to that go together in what
mm,
your overall idea of what you want to do is. And I feel like we focus so much on the want to. Like, if
mm.
I don't want to do today, I won't because I'm prioritizing me by doing that. Absolutely false.
Yeah.
What do I need to do today? By the end of the day, if you do a little bit of what you wanted to do a good amount of what you needed to do, I can almost guarantee that like by the end of the day, you'll feel satisfied, feel a little bit happier, and maybe you'll feel a little bit more of like, I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this actually, like at the end of it, wow, I got so much done. Or
Mm,
I felt better about doing it. Maybe I found my purpose after
yeah.
3 weeks of doing that. Or I spent 3 weeks of doing this. I actually don't want to do this. I don't need to do it. Switch, do something else, etc. Right? Um, it just, you know, the concept of don't be yourself is just funny to me. Um,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
and I do. I feel like when it comes to dance, we hear that a lot of like just be yourself.
Mm,
And at the same time, I'm like, should they be themselves or should they not be themselves initially? Learn. I always go back and forth of like, should you learn the foundations or should you learn how you dance first? And I think
mm,
my logical mindset says not scrap, but lessen who you are, learn how to move, and then bring yourself back up in how you move.
mm.
But I'd love to know
Yeah.
what you think about that.
Yeah. Great. That's a very good call out. To bring it to dance, one thing that I learned from Trouble Lock, he's an Austin dope locking instructor. He taught me locking. He said, if you strip away all the foundation someone has, and all their dance knowledge, and you just play their favorite song. Their raw movement they do at that point, that's their that's their raw dance, you know?
Mhm.
Now, dancing is an innate thing. I think it's a very innate human thing to do. You know, even if you're not given any instruction on how to dance, someone can dance. Babies dance, right? Now,
Mhm.
as human beings, because we're like intelligent species, we
Yeah.
created foundations, we created art, we go down the rabbit hole and create like a whole science to this stuff, right? Now, that's where like as you mentioned, if you build a foundation and you also know yourself really well, that natural side, and you can fuse those two, that's what makes you a very, I would say, like well crafted dancer. Like you're an
Mhm.
you that's a very hard skill. And that's what people are practicing every day. I still practice that every day.
Mhm.
I'll play a song and freestyle in my room, and I won't like, oh, there's a mosquito. I'll play a song and freestyle in my room, and I won't like pressure myself to do any foundations. I'll just like do what the music tells me to do and let it direct me.
Mhm.
And then there's drills that I'll do, whereas like this whole round's gonna be breaking round, or this whole round's gonna be popping round, or this whole round's gonna be a housing round, and I'll still try to make sure I'm implementing my natural. I'm making sure the
Mhm.
song is influencing my choices, and honest movement is happening, right? So
Mhm.
that is difficult to do if you're not accustomed to like the foundational steps, right? And I think like to learn those foundational steps, you have to put in the time and effort to do it. It's a At the end of the day, it's body repetition. It's
Mhm.
You got to get it to your cerebellum, which is motor, like automated motor activity. But first is here. First, you're doing it one
Mhm.
step at a time, just like when you're tying your shoe. First, you
Yep.
have to look at it and loop the loop and all that stuff. Now you don't gotta look at it. You could do it on beat, right?
Mhm.
So same thing with movement, any movement. So you learn the foundation, you get it down, it becomes automatic. Now you can start infusing the natural side of things. But then how much have you studied that side of yourself? How much have you studied
Mhm.
how you allow the music to dictate your movement
Yeah.
and not judge every choice you make? So this is like introspection with dance. You want to take the time to introspect and not judge yourself and be kind to yourself and have that healthy relationship of your body and mind and music, and then that's kind of stuff, but you got to put in that inner work, right? And I
Mhm.
think the same thing comes to life. Everyone has different goals, what they want to do, kind of what you're talking about, want to do, need to do. People have physical goals, spiritual goals, financial goals, social goals. And these are all different goals, right? If I get
Mhm.
nothing done with the studio, if I lose $1,000 today, if my mom and dad had a horrible argument with me today, but I prayed all five of my prayers today, today is a successful day to me,
Yep.
right? But that's because
Yep.
I put in the time to write down and compartmentalize what goal fits what need and happiness and fulfillment in my life, and I have to be aware of that. And
Mhm.
sometimes people don't put in that time and effort to sit and think that stuff through and write it down. I literally have a
Mhm.
whiteboard that I will workshop my thoughts. Some people don't have that in practice,
Mm.
and I had to learn that
Mhm.
myself. Some people are going every day, just waking up in the morning and like, what do I want to do today? What do I care about? And just
Yeah.
working completely on hedonistic values and just too instinctual, right? And
I
you
have
can do
found
that.
that I can never trust morning
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I can't trust nighttime me. Nighttime, I'm the most motivated. I want to go running at 6 a.m. Then 6 a.m. comes and
Yep.
I'm like, I'm going to stay in bed, dog, you know?
That's what I'm
So
saying.
it's like,
Yep.
you don't, yeah, what you got to trust is the one that quarterbacks your life.
Mhm.
You gotta kind of third person yourself and like write it down,
Mhm.
get it out of your head, put it on paper, and then you'll see it's really not that much on your mind.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot, but when you write it down, it's actually not too much on your mind. You just got to kind of
Mhm.
organize your laundry in your head. Once
Yep.
you do that, then you feel a little bit more like in control,
Mhm.
and you could be more targeted in your efforts. You could go as far as
Mhm.
to breaking down your goals every year, what you're going to accomplish by the end of the year. What will I finish in 3 years, 5 years? But that's a
Right.
lot of sitting down and making decisions and thinking, right? And that's
It's
kind
a
of
lot of
where
being with
the,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah, you got to be with yourself and do that, you know? And you could start small. I'm not saying sit there and plan out the next 20 years of your life. That's absurd. But make an effort to do some level of that. I would
Mhm.
encourage anybody, you know?
Yeah. Have you d have you, um, looked into the concept of low and high conscientiousness?
Mm-mm.
It So I try really hard not to be what I call basically a hypochondriac of self-improvement. Like, assume that I'm I'm doing the traps that I'm hearing about, or I'm doing the good things that I'm hearing about. Like, if I hear something, I'm like, "Oh, that's so me. Like, that's me. I do that." Or that's, "Oh my god, I'm that kind of person." Um, the conscientious thing is interesting. It's basically not necessarily like it's basically how prone are you to, I would put it, how prone are you to agency? If you have low conscientiousness, you're also kind of prone to low agency. You give into your urges more often than not. You don't. Um, you can't stick to one thing. You kind of go off of like what your desires are, what you want to do, etc. High conscientiousness is like high agency as well. Like you you do the things that need to be done to get you moving forward.
Mm.
And the information that that I was exposed to when I was listening and reading about it initially was that high and low conscientiousness are more often than not things that like innate traits. It's not like it's necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily genetic or like part of your DNA code, but there are more, it's more deeply ingrained as innate. It's not as much of a
Mm.
learned behavior. And the examples that were in the literature and stuff that I was reading was, say you're living at home, you're a low conscientious person, you're living at home, your parental figure, your guardian controls your diet. Therefore, maybe, if you grew up um, a little bit heavier overweight, you control your diet at home, you were disciplined, you were told to go to the gym, you're told to be active, etc. You had school and other like external things keeping you in check almost, and you lost the weight, you were active, athletic, whatever it is. Cool. Now you're out of that environment. Say you're in college on your own, or after
Mm.
college, and you're living on your own, and you have all this agency to do whatever you want, but because you have low conscientiousness, you kind of give back into the urges of, I just want to eat whatever I want, eat whenever I want. I'm not active. I haven't kept up with my regimen that kept me lean and active, and at maybe a quote unquote healthier weight size, whatever it is. So you kind of fall back, not a relapse, but you kind of fall back because you're unable to um, resist certain
Mm.
impulses, etc. That's low and high conscientiousness, and
So, what makes you high conscientious? Like, what helps bring someone to that level then, from low conscientious?
that's the difficult part. It's not. It's it's very hard to go from one to the other in like a, like, it's almost as if it's almost as if this is part of your DNA. This is like part of your code. Like, you are a person who naturally gives into these things, and so in order to avoid it, you have to have external pressures. You can't just do it on your own at work. And that's why, some people say,
100%.
some people are the have the founder story of, I just had an idea and I have a really high tolerance of pain, and I worked on it and got it done, and I'm successful. Other people are, I needed a team of people around me keeping me accountable, keeping me honest, keeping me like um needing to do the things I need to do. Otherwise, if I was left to my own devices, nothing would get done,
Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
so I have been challenging myself to figure out, like, what kind of I don't know if I'm low or high. I don't know how to necessarily test that yet. I'm still reading about on that stuff. But the concept is very interesting because it's very new to me. Thinking that you're
Mm,
naturally born to give in or resist impulses and things like that. But I've been challenging
yeah.
myself to figure out, like, as much as I love to do everything by myself, and maybe it's a trauma response from previous years, maybe it's just um, something I learned and wired myself to do. What could happen if I tried to lean on others? If I tried to build a team? If I tried to do something with someone else versus by myself? You know,
Hmm.
and identifying that, reflecting on that. Did that work better? Did that work less? How much time did you give it? How did you feel when it happened? Does it give you more space to do more, etc.? Right? Like, so I used to, this is just a very small example, but I used to, when I started my YouTube channel in 2022 and the podcast in 23, I was doing it all by myself, recording, editing, scripting, posting, analysis, all that stuff, SEO tried, thumbnails, etc. Everything was solo. Because I was like,
Hmm.
I'm not going to pay somebody to do something that I don't know how to do. And it wasn't until this year that I was like, okay, I know how to do all
Yeah.
this stuff. I'm just not doing it well. But I also am not so analytical that I'm going to like dive into all the metrics and like um, tailor the script to make it so attractive and use negative emotion bias and like
Hmm.
have my 7 seconds be all scripted and work on my tone, pitch, etc. I'm not going to do all that. That's just not me. Okay, cool. But I need space to like actually think about my content. Okay, cool. What's the one thing that I want to offload to somebody else? Thumbnail creation, editing. Cool. Offload that because I can, and I have a day job that allows me to do that. So now it's like, okay, cool.
Hmm.
That actually helped because I can sit and breathe every week, and I have a couple of hours more back to my week to think, what do I want to do with this? Where is it going?
Yeah.
Can I prep for videos a little bit better because I'm
You
not
can do
spending time editing
CEO
previous
things.
ones? Yeah, exactly.
And
And
start
like
doing CEO things.
the
That's what they teach in the MBA
yeah,
program. Like they taught us like we took financial classes, business ethics classes, marketing classes, HR classes. You're learning all these different things, and now if you think about it, a business has a CMO, a CEO, a CFO, CRO, C whatever O's, right?
mhm,
All of these people, the point of them is to handle that department, and the
mhm,
CEO should be knowledgeable of all departments,
mhm,
right? So
yep,
yeah, I can't code a whole video game, but I know how
mhm,
coding works, so I can talk to the coding team. So yeah,
mhm,
you can edit, you can do all the aspects of podcasting, but you don't got to do all of them. You got to be able to speak to the person who does, so
right,
that you're not telling them absurd requests. You're telling them things that are
mhm,
doable
exactly,
because you've already experienced it. You know what's doable,
mhm,
right? And then now they can do
mhm.
it,
I
and now you trust your people. Let them be the experts in
yeah,
that, and you be the experts in the whole vision.
yeah, exactly. So I would when I talk to people now, I try to get them to like kind of think about that of like, okay, you want to do something. Do you need a team? Is it just going to be you? Do you have the time to make for it just to be you, or do you need to bring in somebody else? You know, you kind of have to make that judgment call. Um, Switching gears a little bit, do well. I did also want to say this while we're on the topic of on HQ. Love the content. I've been digging the edits, been digging the way you've been doing it, the interview style with like the instructors and you and like the topic focused like pieces on Instagram. That's dope. That's good stuff.
Thank you. Shout out to the HQ Dallas marketing team. They've been amazing, and the whole staff is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks good. It looks good. It sounds good. Everything. Great people. Do you and maybe you and you don't have to answer this, but this is just me being nosy. Do you have other business ideas that you were like, I could do this if I wasn't doing HQ? Or is HQ just like
Oh,
has always been like
yeah.
that's the thing I want to do?
I want to start a software company.
Really?
So
Software
I
as a
have
service or software as a
yeah,
product?
software as a service. So um, This is more of like a startup, like proper startup tech company
Mhm.
that I'd like to start one day. But that is heavily dependent on who's going to be my chief product because I need the
Mhm.
person to build it and who
Yep.
wants to take this long walk with me.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that's heavily dependent on my networking in my life over time. If I meet the right
Mhm.
person who also agrees and thinks this idea that I have is a very valuable one, which I think it is,
Mhm.
um, then we're in business. But yeah, I do want
Yeah.
to start um, a software company one day, inshallah. If not, no problem. It's not a big deal. Um, and I also I'm bringing back Dancing for a Cause, um, and it's just not gonna be like the same exact model it was last time. It's still a nonprofit, but it's not
Mhm.
like all the schools and like it's just a nonprofit for dance, and we'll do a lot of great
Yeah.
dance stuff. But just want to bring back the philanthropy side of things, and do more like kind of
Mhm.
philanthropic work, you know. So
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a space for that, right? There's no shortage of, I think, I mean, depending on the people there's no shortage of donors to help bring that kind of thing to life as long as you have the vision. Like you're putting the work. If you need people to donate to make things happen, there's people there. Um, I think those are solid. I'd be interested to hear what the tech thing is offline one day because I envy founders sometimes because I'm like, how the hell did you see a problem that you wanted to fix in that way? Because and maybe this is me in that I don't think about the world in that way, where I see the problems that are necessarily fixable that I think I could fix. But I envy y'all folk that are like, that's a problem that could be fixed, or this is an already existing product that could be improved and reiterated on, and I can do that kind of
mm,
thing, right? And I think
yeah,
that's cool. I think that's, excuse me, honestly cool.
yeah. I think entrepreneur like uh down to the like the phonetics of the word or the etymology is what it's
Mhm.
called. Literally means like an opening.
Something like that.
Like you find it, you
Mhm.
find an opening. You know what I'm saying? And you fit into
Yeah.
that space. I have a lot of
Mhm.
ideas, bro. Some are stupid, but it's like I still think are amazing. And when I tell people, they're like, "No way."
Yeah.
One idea I'll share with you is the escalator. So like you know how there's escalators and there's elevators.
Yes.
Elevator goes straight up and
Yes.
down. It's a box, and you
Yep.
gotta press a button. It
Yep.
comes down. It gets you whatever. Escalators are constantly like you go up, but it takes up a lot of space. An escalator is just like a revolving
Mhm.
ladder that you just hop on and you go to the next
Yep.
floor.
Yep.
Yeah. Are there safety hazards? Sure, you'll ideate through all those and make it safe, right? But I think fundamentally, as a
Well,
concept, it takes up a lot less space and it will cost less to create.
yeah. I was actually thinking of a portable version for people to have, like, at their house or handyman to use, like, if I'm trying to get up to the roof instead of, I guess,
Yeah,
climbing the ladder up, I lean the escalator to the roof, and I just, like, stand on it, and then
all
it
the
takes me
iterations,
up.
all use cases are on the table. It's the invention of an escalator.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
That shit
It
could
could
work.
be used for
That could work.
construction. It could be used in a
That could work.
corporate office, whatever. So that's like a wacky idea, right? Like that I have, like that I would like to do one day. Will I
Mhm.
do it one day? I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I have a lot of like
Yeah.
stuff like
Because
that.
I think I love going on to Kickstarter and seeing what people are, like, trying to create. Because 'cause I'm like, "There's already so many power banks out there, but you're creating a power bank. There's already so many multi-tool things, but you're creating a multi-tool. Why are you creating another notebook? Why is somebody creating another pen? Why is somebody creating another
Mm-hmm.
thing?" Right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to me that like there's always a buyer for this. That's the
Oh yeah.
crazy part to me, Tosh. There's always a buyer for this. I'm like, where are these buyers coming from
Oh yeah.
in the first place?
Bro, look at
Who is spending
Amazon
their
F
money here?
fulfillment. Look
Yeah.
at Amazon, bro. Like how people do the Amazon FBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fulfillment businesses. They're selling like the most random trendy things, making millions of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's so much
Mm-hmm.
money that's flowing around above our heads, and all you have to do is insert yourself into one money stream. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what really matters though for people, and I hope people are whoever like is trying to get their money up and like have a good relationship with earning money, like whoever's listening, like what you need to understand is like income is one thing, but what you do with that income is what really creates your wealth
Mm-hmm.
and what really creates your safety net. Saving is one
Yeah.
example, but investing is another example.
Yeah.
Investing into a business that generates income is another example. But the thing is, do
Mm-hmm.
you just make your money and then like cut it up and save it and budget and that's it? And that's your relationship with
Mm-hmm.
income? And
Mm-hmm.
you're just that means you're just gonna be constantly chasing a check. And you're constantly
Yeah.
trading your time for money. Right? So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
everyone wants that higher paying job, but I can make more than you with a less paying job because I use my money differently.
Mm-hmm. That's facts. That's bars
Right?
actually. I as the child of an immigrant, you know, immigrant families, they focus so much on savings because that's like survival. And over the years, I've thought like respect to my parents for what they did. Saving is not what I need to do now to like go forward. Like, still obviously save. I always tell people, you have your emergency fund, have your savings, etc. But start using your money. Like, think about how to use it. I spent a year playing gotcha games. And after the year of that and seeing how I chose to spend my money, I
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, that's never happening. That's never happening a goddamn day in my life ever again. Like, even now, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
averse to spending money on, not averse, but I'm so hesitant to spend money on games or things like that unless they're games that I'm specifically playing with a friend. Therefore, there's a utility of friendship and like collaboration that I can have and enjoy that with a friend, not just for myself. Or thinking about like, am I throwing away money by doing this thing? Because I've
Mm-hmm.
already done that in the past where I've thrown away money, and that's just my
Yeah,
standpoint on it. It's
bro.
like,
People throw.
if I'm not, yeah, and you know, I'm the same way when it comes to subscription models, and like I hate those, and I'm not the biggest fan of like subscription models for um, a lot of businesses, but it's just kind of how do you choose to use your money? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think
People spend money on the stupidest
what
things.
I've been,
I spend money on the stupid. You know what I
we
mean?
all
Like,
do, and I think
yeah.
it's just part of the human experience is to spend. You people always spend their currency stupidly, and they're going to. You're going to spend your time stupidly. You're going to spend your money stupidly. It's just how much of it do
Mm-hmm.
you spend stupidly? 'Cause I think some expenses are just fun. I will never, Taj. I will never understand why you're buying Labubus. Why are you buying these little dolls with their asses out or whatever? Like, why are you buying these little like gotcha boxes, these loot boxes or whatever, right? But people have money, they want to spend it the way they want to spend it because their time here is limited. Get it? Those are different vantage
Yeah.
points. But I do try to emphasize to friends and family who do ask, like, there's like level 1 use of money, level 2 use of money, level 3 use of money. It's just, are you checking all the boxes? I've
Yeah.
realized in the past year, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been afraid of the money stream that you've been talking about, because I never knew, like, I just never felt like that was for me. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the word aukat, the Hindi word, um,
Mm-mm.
but it for people who
What
doesn't
does
know,
it
it,
mean?
it means like, what are you? It's like, how do I put it? Like your place. Like it's not your place. It's not
Mm.
your okath, or it is your okath, or whatever it is, right? So I never felt like it was my
It's not
place
like your
to.
provision.
Yeah, like it's not like
It's not like it's not for you. What's for
yeah,
you will come to you. Is
like
that kind of
the
what you're saying?
well, no, it's more on the other side of like um I thought my place was always supposed to be a W-2 wage earner, and that's as high as I could go. That was my ceiling
Mm.
because I grew up with two parents who were W-2 wage earners who spent their money, tried to budget very tightly and give my sister and I the best experience that we could, and saved and budgeted and did all the stuff, and we're very money wise, but
Mm.
they were wage two earners. So I never understood that, you know, the concept of making more money. It was always, here's the money that's given to us, here's how we use it. There was no like, this is the money that we're working for. There's all this extra stuff out here that is just anybody can take it, really. I would never thought I was just
Yeah.
somebody who was able to take it. And so what
Yeah.
I'm kind of learning now is it's everywhere. You just need to position yourself to take it,
Yeah.
and not be
I mean,
afraid
I
of it,
think even the
right? You
bare
can't be afraid
minimum,
to do things
even
for
the bare
money.
minimum of it, yeah, even the bare minimum of investing, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people don't invest. Like the
They
bare
don't.
minimum of investing into the S&P 500. That's something I didn't even start doing till I was 27. I should have known about that
Mm-hmm.
earlier. There's families
Yeah.
like that their father taught that and started it for their son or daughter already.
Mm-hmm.
And my family didn't do that, right? My dad had investments,
Mm-hmm.
but he put that all into the business. He started a Muya burger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but he didn't teach me that. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I had to
Yeah.
learn it myself off YouTube. I don't know why he
Yep.
didn't teach me to invest, right?
Yep.
And when I started talking to him about investing, all of a sudden he has all this knowledge about. I'm like, bro, where you been at with this information?
Yeah.
You never asked.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you
Yeah.
serious? Anyway,
Yeah.
and then I got my sister into investing. I got my mom into investing, and to me, it's like
Mm-hmm.
this whole time this was here, and we've been sleeping on it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I look to all my
Mm-hmm.
friends now. I look to how many dancers in the
Mm-hmm.
scene, for example, who I know has $5 they can invest every week consistently, but they don't even have a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with putting $5 into a brokerage account. They don't even feel comfortable doing that
Yeah.
yet. So
Yeah.
now you got to get over that.
Exactly.
Then you got to get into the $5, then turning that into a $10. How much time do you have, right? Like, and this is just a
Mm-hmm.
low, easy win. It's an easy W,
Yep.
but people
So
don't
that,
have the
I
knowledge
always say
for
like
it.
savings and investing is level one, right?
Level one, and
that's the
even
first.
that is
Mm-hmm.
that's insane to me because of how easy it is. You could download Robinhood today and start
Mm-hmm.
right now. Even that,
Mm-hmm.
you still won't. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
to
I
me,
think,
that's insane.
the 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 interesting thing is like when you're talking about dancers, and we're talking about people who maybe make their money contract based or whatever it is, right? I was talking to a couple of friends a couple of months ago because I'm in the tax field. I work with, I do tax returns for millionaires and billionaires. So I see so many different ways they use their money, et cetera, all the different buckets it's put in, et cetera. And I think, okay,
Mm.
why don't our people have their LLCs? Why, like, people don't know what an LLC is. They don't know
Mm-hmm.
what the benefit of that is. Why don't you set your dance company up as an LLC? Why don't you think
Mm-hmm.
about yourself as a business? Why don't, you're spending all this money on
You're
marketing and
spending
these
these taxes
flyers and
you
all
don't need
these
to
things.
spend. It's insane.
And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're not getting anything back for it, right? Like you're using all this money, not getting your deductions, like all that stuff, right? And but that was, you know, that was something that these thoughts had only come up recently, and my friend was like, "Okay, why aren't you sharing that?" And I'm like, I to your dad's point, nobody ever asked me, kind of thing, right? Like, and because the people who
Ah,
did, I told them,
ah,
but
that makes sense.
to his point, like nobody ever asked, and so now I'm thinking, like, I think as much information that there is out there, I think there's still people who don't have it. It's
Hey, right
crazy that
there
we
is the
have.
on that right there is the entrepreneurship right there. You found an opening,
Right.
right? And
Right.
like, do they even know to ask? No.
Mhm.
But you came across something and you realized a need and a problem that one thing I learned in business school is a business solves a problem people didn't know they had,
I've heard that a lot. Never sank
right?
in. Yep.
That's a perfect example, right?
Yep.
Um yeah. So that's a business opportunity right there too. Financial coaching for a specific niche demographic.
Somebody else take that. I'm too scared to do that. Anyways, let's go on to the next thing I want to talk to you about, which is, and this is a very light topic, but I did want to talk to you about this because I love
Yeah.
talking to fellow creators, and it's the podcast. And I kind of wanted you, we talked a little bit earlier, but I do want to have you expand on it. What was your goal with when you first started the Taj is Dope podcast? Like, what was the intention behind that?
Yeah, I just know a lot of dope people and I want to have dope conversations and then document it. And then like I told you, like I wanted to learn the process of podcasting, which I realize is
Mm-hmm.
extremely arduous. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you need a lot of like proper camera setup, and you need to do file management, and you need to like edit audio and all this stuff. And I'm like, after a couple, I was like, if I do this, I gotta do it differently.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hire someone to do it, and I just want to be the
Yep.
host. I just want to come in.
Yep.
What I want to bring to the table is me and my network, because my network is
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting. I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different. I know the creator of Light Feet. He's my boy. We
Mm-hmm.
text each other. You know,
Yep.
um, have him on the podcast, right? Have him
Yep.
stand next to uh 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 Al from Crump, right? The Crump scene. Have a
Mm-hmm.
whole conversation, all three of us, right? Like stuff like that. So that was my intention. And then it kind of went into, let me teach stuff that I learned, apply basically, like I'll read a business article and then apply what I've learned from business school to the business article of current events. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, helping people understand how business theory models apply to everyday business news and sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for a bit. It was cool. It
Yeah.
was fun, interesting. Um, but again, I want a team around it to uh,
Mm-hmm.
help me really bring it to the level I'd like to bring it to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so now my next step is to manifest this idea of creating a podcast space for YouTube and shooting in the
Mm-hmm.
studio to position the studio as more than just a dance studio, but also a place you can do this sick podcast room, right? If you just set it up right. So
Yep.
I want to do that and also put a
Yep.
voice to the dance scene,
Yep.
because the dance community and dance scene
Mm-hmm.
is like, we see us, everyone dancing in the scene and all that stuff. I feel like we don't give enough like opportunity for people to share thoughts, ideas, broadcast it, and for the world to see, right? So I think that'd be cool. Give people some more amplification of
Yeah,
their
man.
thoughts, you know?
Yeah, I feel like there's when you get people actually talking, that's the most fun I think you can have with somebody is just talking to them. I That's just what I've gravitated towards over the past few years is like even after the dancing, after the exchanges in in the circle, um, chopping it up with somebody is just the most fun thing ever. Um, I think
Yeah.
honestly, I sometimes do use the excuse of a podcast to talk to some people or ask them certain questions that would never come to mind if I was just talking to them on the phone or texting them almost. It's like, what are some questions that I am interested about in their life, but I don't know how to ask that off. But
Mm.
if they're down to, and I can ask that here kind of thing, and then they share, I share, etc. And there's no, um, it's like, it like reduces the friction. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I like it a lot. But I
Yeah.
do. I would look forward to the space that you're that or the like what you're trying to create because you know, there's two types of podcasters, Todd. There's two types of podcasters that I've noticed in my tenure here of like 2 years. Is there's the people who start it because they want to start a podcast, and there's people who have already lived a specific amount of life or live a specific amount of life, and then they're retiring to the podcast. Like those are the two that I've
Mm.
noticed the most. It's like people who podcast for the sake of podcasting and they like to podcast, and there's people who um, podcast in addition to their other things. Both make great content. It's
Yeah.
just two types of people, and you know, I think if you like because you have all these connections and these people that you are able to bring together, yeah. Why do you need like your purpose is not to sit behind a computer and edit these things for 4 hours. That's kind of somebody else's job. Um, and you can provide more value. Like, okay, I can if you can spend 4 to 8 less hours a week, like editing, that's two more guests you can bring on and two more episodes you can like generate, etc. For somebody else to edit and put up. I'm gonna ask this because I really want to ask this, and I always ask people this after the call. And I wish I asked it on the call. What are some of your favorite podcasts that you listen to?
Mm. um, so one I listen to is Bad Friends. It's so
Mm-hmm.
stupid, but it's funny. Um, this is Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino, the two
Mm-hmm.
comedians. I also like the I like the Pivot podcast. That's a good one. Um, there's one called The Best One Yet,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they do is they give basically digestible business news every day.
Mm-hmm.
Three they call it snacks daily. So like
Mm-hmm.
three big snackable information every day. Another one, let me see. I like Lex Friedman.
Mm-hmm.
He's dope. Um I like Theo Vaughn. I like Joe Rogan. I always listen to Joe Rogan when like I'm really interested in who his guest is.
Yeah,
Uh
that's the only reason too. I feel like he just has so many that I'm like, if you're there every single day just for Joe Rogan,
yeah, if he has like
crazy.
a really highlighted like big one, like I'll listen to it, you know?
Mhm.
Um yeah. I also like Speedy. He does like for Complex, I think.
Mhm.
Um he's dope. And yeah, that's what I could think off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure like there's some I'm missing, but
Nice. It's a good list. I like that list. I like it a lot. Um, Taj, thank you so much for joining me today, dude. I appreciate you spending your time talking to me, talking to us, whoever's listening. Before I let you go, though, I have two questions to ask you. The first one, an intentionally vague question, but if there is any one piece of advice that you'd like to give to somebody listening today, what is it?
hmm. Okay. I think one piece of advice that I think also kind of falls in line with our whole conversation today. It's a quote that I it's always stuck with me. I forgot who said it, but it's success is when opportunity meets preparation.
Mm,
So if you want to be successful, the opportunities are gonna come. Just be prepared. Always be prepared,
mhm.
and like it's gonna happen. You know.
Yeah.
Um, and like another thing, I don't know for all your listeners what their denomination is, but if you wanna make God laugh, tell him your plans. So that's another thing. Like nothing
Yeah.
happens without the will of God. I always pray every day and sit and thank God for all my blessings, and I tell God as well, like if whatever I'm doing is does not please you, take it away from me. Like
Mhm.
like the studio, all the work that I'm doing with the studio. Like, thank you for all the blessings, but also if there's anything that not making you happy, like take it away then too. Like at the end of the day, like whatever's like in your favor is what my goal is, you know? So
Mhm.
like I always kind of operate with that mindset. So like have your higher purpose,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much my advice.
That's amazing, Taj. Where can people find you if they wanna keep up with what you're doing?
Hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram is at Taj is dope. TAJISDOPE. And come to HQ Dallas at HQ Dallas. Come through if you want to learn, and or just kick it there and just watch classes too. Come have a good time. Just chill. You're always welcome.
Awesome. Once again, Taj, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Appreciate you, bro. Take care.